Hey, my name is Brian. Welcome to my garage Bible study. What your name is will drive your behavior. That's what I'm going to look at today from the book of Daniel. I'm in a series in Daniel in my day job, the church I lead called Crossroads. You can see longer form versions of some of the things I'm going to talk about there if you want to. But we're going to look at some shorter snippets here in the next several weeks over Daniel. And his name, the name Daniel, is important, and it's a massive understanding. The name Daniel in Hebrew means God is my judge. And Daniel actually gets a new name. The background here is the nation of Israel has been overtaken by the Babylonian Empire. Nebuchadnezzar, the ruler of the Babylonian Empire, is basically culturally appropriating all of the Jew stuff. He's culturally appropriated all the stuff that's in their temple, and now he's trying to suck them into his culture, and he's trying to give them a brand new culture. And let's just start reading Daniel chapter 1, verse 3-ish. It says this: Then the king commanded Ashpenaz, the chief eunuch. Why eunuch? Serving the king because you would voluntarily undergo castration when you served an ancient king like this, because you would never be a threat to the throne. Because if your testicles were removed, that king knew that you would never start your own lineage. So high up in the house of authority, you would have to castrate yourself, and that's what this guy has had done. To bring some of the people of Israel, both the royal family and of the nobility, used without blemish, check this out, used without blemish, of good appearance, and skillful in all wisdom, endowed with knowledge, understanding, learning, and competent and to stand the king's palace, and to teach them the literature and language of the Chaldeans. That's the hyper-spiritual people in the Babylonian Empire. So the king says to the eunuch, hey, I want you to bring me the best of the best. This is kind of crazy and wild. This is a sermon you don't ever hear, but here it is. It is a blessing to have great DNA, to be great looking, to have great skin, and also have a great disciplined mind. God needs and uses people who have hit the DNA lottery. Another example of that is Esther, Queen Esther. She's named a queen. She's brought into another empire that's overseeing the Jews, and she is because she is beautiful. Sometimes when you have a unique thing about your appearance that you didn't work for, that you didn't do as a DNA, God can use it, and that's what happens here with Daniel. I don't think he just has a DNA lottery ticket. He's also doing things that make his complexion right and make him healthy. We're going to talk about that next week. But check out what happens here in Daniel as they're trying to bring them into their culture and culturize them to squeeze out their Jewishness and squeeze out their spirituality. It continues. The king assigned them a daily portion of the food that the king ate and of the wine that he drank, and they were to be educated for 3 years. And at the end of that time, they were to stand before the king. Among these were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah of the tribe of Judah. And the chief of the eunuchs gave them names. Here's the big part today. He gives them names. They've already got names. I just read them to you. But they give them new names. And here's their new names. Daniel, he called Belteshazzar. Hananiah, he called Shadrach. Mishael, he called Meshach, and Azariah, he called Abednego. Even if you've never read the Bible, you might have heard Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. That's going to be a classic story that we're going to get to later on. But that's actually not their names. Names mean something. My name is Brian Douglas Tome. Actually, when my parents gave me that name, they didn't think of anything of the meaning behind it. They just liked how it sounded. Most of us, when we name our kids, we just like something how it sounds. But names are very significant, especially in the ancient world. Actually, unbeknownst to me, my middle name was also significant. They thought it sounded good, but the name Douglas, my middle name, is actually the name of my birth father, who I met a few years ago. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Scary, spooky, strange. But to know someone's name is to know something about them. And to take on a name means to take on certain behaviors. Daniel, the name Daniel, means God is judge. As a Jewish person, he lives under the authority of God, and God is judge. They give him the name Belteshazzar, which means Bel protects his life. Bel is a foreign god's name, a foreign deity of the Babylonians. And they're trying to just say, hey, this is who you are. You're not Daniel anymore, you're Belteshazzar. We're going to get you away from God of Yahweh, and we're going to bring you into into Baal, into who he is, rather Bel. Then we also have Hananiah, which means Yahweh has been gracious, and they change him to Shadrach, the command of the moon god. Not the right God, command of the moon god. They take Mishael, who means, who is like God? Who is like God? Who is like you? There's an old worship song about that. Who is like you? They change him to Meshach, which is, who is what Aku is? Another one of their foreign deities. They take Azariah, which means God has helped, and that's what he's done. They change it to Abednego, which means servant of Nebo, another one of their ancient gods. This is really important for us to see. Your name is important, and I don't mean just whatever name is on your birth certificate, that's important, but I also mean your identity, how you view yourself, who you view yourself to be. If you believe that your name is, I'm just not a disciplined person, guess what? You're not going to be a disciplined person. But as we talked earlier in Garage Bible Study last week, God's not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-discipline. He's given that spirit to us. You have to tell yourself who you are. You're a son of the living God. Jesus gets direct messages from God that are recorded in the New Testament 3 times. 3 times. 2 of them, it's a repeat. 2 times, it says the exact same thing to him. This is my son in whom I'm well pleased. Yes, his name is Jesus, but his identity is also the Son of God. I encourage you, consider who you are. Who has God made you to be? What is your identity? And take that name on yourself above and beyond what the name Brian might be, or Douglas might be, or Janet, or Mishka, or whatever it is. Now identify who God is and who he has made you to be. And when you have that name, live in it, live up to it, and walk in it. Your name will dictate your behavior, and you are a chosen child of God who God loves very much, and he has gifted you with incredible gifts. Know those gifts, put them into place. That is your name, your identity, and your destiny.